What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another episode of the Kingdom Says. I am your host, as always, Garrett Williams. Today, we've got a full house in the building for the first time in a while, I think. This is the first time we've had four people here and a packed house. So, without further ado, let me introduce some of the people on the screen that are with me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the people on the screen, which you should definitely check out. Kyle Henning at the top right. How are you doing tonight, Kyle?
Oh, doing all right. Doing all right. Had a fun day prior to this. All the boys got to find out about that before the show. But that's all. That's all done now, and now we're here to talk what is getting rapidly closer to the start of the regular season. Preseason finale on Friday, so 53 man coming up. So ready to discuss all of those fun little things with you gentlemen this evening.
Sure enough, sure enough. Also making his return, Thomas Pike, Arrowhead Tom. How are you tonight, Tom?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I want to just point out that last year I did, during our prediction episode, I talked about Juju Smith-Schuster being cut, and you guys all laughed at me. And, he didn't really show up last year anyways, and he's not making the team this year, so I feel confident that my hot take is going to stick. Maybe we'll get crazy with one this
I got
year
distracted.
again.
Who?
Juju Smith-Schuster. Remember, you guys gave me all the crap because I said, man, maybe he won't
Guy
make
who
the
had like
team.
55% of the snaps played last year, that guy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but did he really do that much for us? And maybe he should have left him in St. Joe. Sorry, Juju. Anyways,
Oh boy,
we'll
I
see
can't
if we
imagine
get
who's
some
the
more hot
subject
takes
of
out.
it this year. Oh man. People better have their head on the swivel, Patrick Mahomes, you might not even be safe still. Who knows? When Tom's coming around here.
Oh.
Last but not least, Mr. Randy Ellenberger is here once again. How are you tonight, Randy?
I am doing well. Excited to have another fun-filled and exciting night with you, chuckleheads. Talking about the team we love and the very exciting and exciting season coming up, and we got some predictions to do, and it's gonna be a fun one.
Sure is, yeah. So the main topic of tonight, we will be predicting the Chiefs' 53-man roster with the final preseason game coming up this Friday, and then roster cuts coming that following Sunday, the August 30th. Doesn't leave us a lot of time to kind of, it's kind of crunch time, and the NFL doesn't do like the different waves of cut downs anymore. They just do one big cut now. So it's literally 90 guys down to 53 on Sunday, no matter what. Like, no matter what, the Chiefs will have 53 people on the roster after Sunday. And that will be every other team, which is a crazy time of year. Obviously, we used to call it Black Monday. I guess it's maybe Black Sunday now. I don't know if they moved that, or maybe it's just because the day after is so. I don't know.
It was Black Monday for coaches in December or whatever when regular season ends. I didn't know.
Yeah,
But yes, I
sometimes
guess it is Black Monday.
It's a bad day, because unfortunately
a lot of guys go
who
home.
get cut, and there's a lot of transactions and stuff that take place after that, practice squads and yada yada yada. But still, very tough day for a lot of folks, and definitely a big day for people who end up making the roster, who are maybe surprises or roster hopefuls and whatnot. But before we get into the full predictions, we're just gonna recap the last preseason game just a little bit, playing the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going to Tampa to have that challenge of going on the road. Kyle, what was your initial expectation or thoughts on?
My expectations were nothing because the second preseason game and Patrick wasn't playing, and I had no expectations other than when watching individual guys. I mean, several standouts in the first half, and then they didn't play in the second half, and that showed. I mean, this cabinet is not as deep as we would like it to be. I think that stands to reason is why they've had a little bit of more difficulty in the preseason the last few years. Is usually in the preseason the reason you win games is because your depth is all the way through the 90 is better than the other teams. That really hasn't been the case for a couple of years now because they've been having to do a lot of youth movement around a lot of this football team. So once the depth entered, it kind of got really problematic to watch in some instances. Still had some guys show out that were still playing in the depth sections, but it was more like because they had no choice because nobody else was playing. So, like I said, we'll get into everybody, but that was my general takeaway. Is the first half was in a little bit of a whole bunch of positives and encouraging signs from a lot of different guys that we talked about literally the episode prior needed to have some encouraging signs or there was going to be problems, and they did. So,
yeah, exactly. Randy, you're wearing an offensive lineman shirt, and that was obviously a big question in this game with multiple starters out and a bunch of different rotating pieces and whatnot. And I think that's going to be one of the bigger areas of question going into these roster predictions as well. But based off that preseason game too, with how the offensive line looked, what are your thoughts on the group?
The group as a whole, for the second preseason game was, did they light the world on fire? No. Were they flawless by any stretch of the imagination? Not even close. But they weren't. It wasn't terrible. Some guys were getting more looks. The Benson kid still seems to be getting a lot.
Don't open the gate.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of opportunities, and you can tell there are some reasons why he went undrafted and was a minicamp guy. But what I do like about him is his resilience and his ability to not consistently make the same mistakes over and over. He does seem to be getting better. There is some real good upside to him, and for the price at which we got that kid, I'm gonna hold on to that for a little while. One of the guys that's been really quiet this preseason, and I thought there would be more, maybe not hype, but more information or more opportunity is Pole. I was really hoping he would come out and kind of light the world on fire and take a hold of that right tackle position. That's what I was kind of hoping for leading into this offseason, and that hasn't really happened, which has allowed Benson to kind of shine a little bit more. But, I mean, we seem to run the ball, generally effectively. Emmett Johnson has been, probably the brightest spot of the entire preseason so far. Which everyone knows I'm a Husker fan, so that makes me smile a bit.
No, none of that. No, there's no bias.
But as a whole, I think the group looks decent, and obviously the stars not playing it leaves a lot more opportunities for those guys to show out a little bit. So there are going to be some choices to be made, and now with the newest addition, was that today or yesterday? The kid from the Giants.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Chiefs told you what they thought about their offensive line performance.
Yeah, I mean, they needed some depth, and there are a couple of guys that are just hanging on by the last little pinky on the bottom rung of a ladder before they fall off. So I think we probably have seen the end of maybe C.J. Hansen or Mr. Caliendo with this newest addition. But yeah, I mean, you just never know as well. It's always that last prediction or that last official roster that comes out there. Sometimes there's a little head scratcher going on there, and you're like, really? Should he still be there?
Yeah, there's always a couple of those for sure. There's always
a couple of head scratchers. But I mean, as a whole, it's promising. Some of those guys, some of those younger guys, are guys that were potential bubble guys. At least put something on film to at least make you think a little bit more. So,
yeah. If you missed it, if you didn't see, the Chiefs traded a 2028 7th-round pick in exchange for guard/tackle Joshua Ezeudu from the Giants, who was a 3rd-round pick in 2022. Had a handful of starts under his belt, a lot of experience for sure. Had a good couple showings in the Giants' first preseason games. So, yeah, obviously that tells you a lot about how the Chiefs feel about their interior offensive line depth and some of the injuries that had happened. You send basically nothing just to kind of avoid the waiver wire in that instance. But Tom, what are your big takeaways from the preseason so far, I guess, in general?
Yeah, I mean, that offensive line depth was definitely questionable. I liked the move to pick up Ezeudu. Is that it? I'm not even close.
Ezeudu? I don't know.
Ezeudu, I believe.
We'll learn it. Yeah, versatility. I mean, I think New York kind of looking to move on from. He's a former 3rd-round pick. Was always going to be a little bit of a project player, but I think he represents, if nothing else, he's there to light a fire under some of those guys who might be a little complacent on this team, feeling like their spots were pretty safe. So there's at minimum a lot more competition there now for them. I think there's a good shot he makes it. Obviously, you give up a little bit of draft capital for him, but the offensive depth or the offensive line depth was concerning, and at the same time, what I want to highlight is Garrett Nussmeier he looked really good for a guy who was taken where he was taken. You can tell, again, some of those cliches about him, like, oh, he's a coach's son. I mean, he is. His dad's an offensive coordinator for the Saints. He looked poised and composed, and you could see a pathway where you're like, yeah, this is a guy who is going to be a high-end backup, maybe spot starter. I told my therapist this morning that I think he looked like Chase Daniel out there, right?
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah.
I just knew. As soon as he said that, I was like, I know he's going to say it.
Chase Daniel, special. I mean, like, that's who you want as your second quarterback. To be your guy, to be in the room who sees things and who can come in and or Chad Henne or whatever you want to, whatever you.
That was the second. That was the second name.
I
can't imagine what those two names have in common.
Either one of those two haven't hit that pocket escape, roll out, cross body across the middle.
That is true. Yeah, he's a little more than just a pocket passer.
I love Chad and I love Chase, but neither one of them has that in the tool bag. Not a.
Yeah. Well, by the time they got here, they were. Yeah, and I mean, I think he's got some upside to him.
By the time they got to us, they were a little long in the tooth, and that thought process.
Yeah. Chad did his best impersonation in that Cleveland game and almost died for it, but
Yeah,
I understand, but I'll be honest. That pocket escape from right to left and then off 1 foot, that looked a lot like the guy who does it every Sunday normally.
It's so funny how all the Chiefs' backup quarterbacks. We saw Oladokin doing that last preseason too.
All of a sudden,
they just pick up those Pat Mahomes habits,
when Oladokin did it, it looked a little choppy and like he was still trying to figure it out. I mean, that looked fluid. That looked normal. That looked like he felt like he could do that.
It is just funny how they just start picking up those habits as soon as you're around Mahomes.
You'll take as a backup.
I could just roll out left and just throw
a
cross body
sidearm across body 30 yards back across the field.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And my receiver who's running the other way is going to know, oh, he let that go. I need to stop and catch it back here. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a position that we've talked a lot about since Pat's been in town, but having that depth is really nice, and having options. We'll talk more about that position when we get to it. The other thing I think last time we were all together, or at least the last time I was with you guys, we talked a lot about the defensive end position, and our Mason Thomas, his first off, it looked better than I even expected it to in terms of translating. Like he was moving so fast. And then we all got a healthy plate of crow to eat because Felix Anudike-Uzomah, FAU, I mean, he was hustling. Yeah, it feels like he earned his spot on this roster. That's needed with the Gelati injury. He played his tail off. You saw some of those traits that made them go, yeah, we're going to take this guy, in the first round, whether you agree, And, I mean, honestly, he's one of those guys that before all this began, I was like, if he didn't make the roster, it wouldn't surprise me too much. So,
yeah. I'll have plenty to say on him in a little bit.
Yeah, so that's huge. Mansour Delane's debut was great. He looked just as advertised,
Great gunner reps. Great gunner reps.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
It was okay. Hold on now. I know we're being a little. It was a really good gunner.
It was. That's what I'm saying. I understand why Dave Tobe's like, are you sure I can't have this guy?
Shouldn't even
no,
out
Dave.
there.
You can't have our 6th overall pick. No, you can't.
He was calling. Yeah, it was a great gunner rep. Hopefully, the only one he gets.
Yeah,
for a
last
long.
one. Hopefully ever. Yeah, one and done. Great one to end on. Yeah. Yeah, in
90,000,
general,
get
you
out.
know, the young guys are exciting. So I think, in general, I feel like the Chiefs really need to, you know, and they kind of have to embrace a lot of the young guys this year with so many, you know, roster spots they're having to fill and whatnot, and starters they need to fill. Like they're gonna have to embrace some of these young guys, and really, yeah, you just have to throw them out there. You know, our Mason Thomas, just get him out there, have him, you know, have him, and Felix the same thing. Get, you know, all those guys up and into action because you're gonna need them. You're gonna need them.
We have to talk about the coaching changes that we witnessed in that preseason game. Probably more important than any single player performance in that entire game. I can count on one hand the number of end tackle stunts the Chiefs have run on their defensive line in the last 5 years. One hand. They ran 4 of them in the preseason game. In the second preseason game. I could not believe my eyes. One of the pressures that Felix got was because they ran a end tackle stunt. And he started out as the tackle and ended up on the edge. Like, things that we've been... Anybody who just casually watches football at a more advanced level than like, oh, who's playing on Sunday, goes, why don't they do the things that everybody else does to get their players an advantage, especially for a coaching staff that's notoriously, that's what they've always done forever and ever. They didn't do it for several years, offensively or defensively. I watched 4 stunts, standard, normal stunts that every other team in the NFL runs that we haven't run in half a decade.
That is foreign. Yeah, typically the Chiefs' D-line pass rush plan is just everyone run forward. Everyone run forward and then hold your ground.
Win 1-on-1 or 1-on-3 or one on whatever's in front of you.
Just also, run straight.
Also, Spags decided that he remembered that Jaden Hicks could blitz like Trent McDuffie used to. Oh, and that poor bastard that was playing backup quarterback for the Bucks got absolutely murdered for it on that fumble. Guys, that didn't happen last year. He blitzed, but it was always like weird random nonsense and wasn't blitzing the guys that were good at it's been mind-numbing.
Yeah.
They started doing the things, and it was the same thing on offense. They ran the ball under center. They ran actual screenplays that not everybody and their mother knew was a screenplay.
Yeah.
They didn't run a draw on 2nd and 12. Now they will. Don't worry. That will happen.
It will
happen.
I'm about to say, this is just preseasons. You know, they might be trying to put all this good tape on film.
But what I'm saying is, that means they at least either heard or actually finally went, oh, I guess we could do that shit that everybody else is doing. Eventually, like, finally self-scouted to the point where they were like, maybe we could do a stunt once in a while. Who knows?
Good idea.
So, those things are as important as the players performing well that need to, is the coaching staff remembering that they can put them in position. Because like I said, one of the reasons Felix had one of his really good plays is because they actually ran a freaking stunt and got an advantage matchup for both of them on that side.
Sounds like crazy.
What a concept.
Yeah.
So that was almost my biggest takeaway outside of how well the individual players played. It was, oh my God, are they actually going to do stuff this year?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So overall, you know, preseason game 2 didn't win again. You know, the Chiefs have more recently won a Super Bowl than they have a preseason game, so that's kind of funny stat. But that's all right. You know, who cares? Who cares about winning?
Good thing only the Super Bowls count.
Yeah. Last thing we have to mention before we end the preseason discussion, of course, Harrison Butker, 69-yard field goal. Are you kidding me? I mean, that was one of the more hyped
turned
things
around
I've ever...
and continued to beat Harrison Butker and doinked the hell out of an extra point or a chip shot.
We don't got to talk about all that, Kyle. We're trying to celebrate. We're trying to celebrate
we occasionally miss the stupid kick we shouldn't miss and make some nonsense by 12 yards. I saw people saying that
I would trust Harrison Butker more to make a 60-yard field goal in the Super Bowl than a 35-yard random extra point in
We talked about this 2 years ago, remember? Remember 2 years ago when we had this conversation? Because it was like, I would almost rather him kick an extra point from 60 than from 35.
Yeah, just get a false start penalty. Back him up a little bit, you know? Just need Yeah, so that was really cool.
That kick was ridiculous, though. Like, it didn't look like he overkicked. Like, it looked effortless and smooth, and it cleared from about 77. Like,
that ball was 12 yards up the net.
Like, he absolutely creamed that. Like, I've never seen a ball hit so perfectly well. Like, immediately off the foot, too. It's just
I was like,
perfect.
That's good.
And it's just ridiculous to see because, I mean, the NFL record was set last year by Cam Little at 70 or at 69 technically in the regular season, 70 in the preseason. And that's almost feels like regular now for kickers to be making those crazy balls. Now, I know they did change some rules with the K balls and stuff like that, so I think that does help with some of those things. But regardless, to actually be kicking like legit 70-yard field goals with defense too. Like, that's the other thing. You can see, like, you probably see a billion guys on
kick
Instagram
it from 70 with
TikTok
nobody in front of them
who will just go on an open field and they can nail a 70, 75-yarder, no problem. But to have a defense that you're actually kicking over and is trying to block you and all the time of the snap and all that stuff,
and
it's just
whole operation of everything.
And it's on a 24-second time clock because by the time you get to the field as the special teams unit, half the play clock's gone.
It's just so much more pressure on it. I know it's just preseason and it was basically kind of a send off of the half, but just. What an awesome moment.
To say it hit the net is disrespectful to the kick. It didn't hit the bottom of the net. That ball hit the net above where the stands are, like where you're allowed to sit in the stands.
Yeah, like Randy
said, that ball
was
12 or 14 feet up
yards.
the net.
Yeah.
So
that ball was way good.
Yeah. All I gotta say is Andy better let him do that in the regular season if we have the opportunity. I'm just saying.
And the other part was like it wasn't offline, so it would have been good from everywhere from like 25 to like 78.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kick. So that was pretty hype, and we got to see Pat really test out that knee and just sprint across the field and jump in the middle of the scrum. Basically, I mean he got out. He was the first one.
He was to Harrison first.
Yeah, and then he got out of there real quick before everyone else kind of dogpiled in. But yeah, it was just. Real cool moment. You don't get many moments in the preseason that make you like get out of your chair and start clapping and be like, "Oh my God, no way!" But like that was one of them. That was definitely one of them. So with that, preseason number 2 is in the books. Let's get into the roster predictions now. So we got this tool that Tom has. Let's see. Let's switch up some things. Let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, what do we got here? What is this?
Yeah. Well, hey, this is brought to you by AI. I have no problems making that. Threw it together real quick pre-show. So this is all of the positions, all of the players. We've cleared the board. The only people I have in here are specialists. So not really a lot of discussion there about Butker. We just talked about his awesome kick. Matt Arise is going to be the punter. James Winchester is going to be the long snapper. So that's 3 spots. We've got 50 spots we've got to fill out and interactive board. So looking over here to the quarterback position, we already know Patrick's going to make the team, so I double-click him. He's there, and he's on the list. So as we're kind of discussing, we'll update the board. This is a good chance if you are listening on audio only, I encourage you to hop over to our YouTube, give us a follow and a like. It was recently brought to my attention that we don't have that many followers on YouTube. I won't tell you who brought that to my attention because I'm not that petty. But you should give us a follow on YouTube just to appease local government officials. So but let's talk about these position groups. We can start with. Do we want to start with quarterback?
I mean, let's just go. Let's just go down the road like a normal roster kind of.
We might as well get into an argument to start with. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. So quarterbacks. Are we keeping 3 quarterbacks, ladies and gentlemen?
Travis Kelce,
please.
Oh wait.
Huh?
He's the emergency quarterback. Everybody forgets that.
All right. Well, my first thought, this might be a hot take for this. I think Oladokun is probably a practice squad.
Not making it.
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
You are making a practice squad. Yeah.
Probably a practice squad guy.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't even really want to see him on the practice squad anymore. So.
They will. You need to have Randy. Somebody has to be Timu Lamar Jackson. And
there's got to be another option somewhere.
Scout team Lamar Jackson. You're right. That is his role.
He's kind of the new Garrett Dieter. Let's just be honest.
No,
yeah, he is.
No,
well, I think he's kind of good.
He
friends
played
with Pat,
actual football games.
But not well. So
I didn't say he played well. I said he played actual football games.
All right. So we have a
Yeah, all
conversation
kidding
about
aside, yeah, Justin
The
Fields
rest-
and
I'm
Garrett
kidding,
Nussmeier
Garrick. I'm
is
kidding. Before you tweet Yankee
who
nonsense
cares
at me,
if
I apologize.
Gary ain't listening. If he is, who cares? The big question, yeah, Justin Fields and Garrett Nussmeier, are the Chiefs going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster? Obviously, they traded for Justin Fields this past offseason. You draft Garrett Nussmeier with your last pick in the in the 7th round. And, I think a lot of people would go into this season and most seasons would say, the Chiefs only keep 2 quarterbacks, pretty much always, right? Very rarely are you keeping a third unless you have a guy like Nussmeier who is really impressing in preseason so far.
Well, yeah,
And you have
we
questions.
typically never keep a third because we've never spent draft capital on.
Well,
a quarterback.
that is true. Although
Also-
7th
when
round,
we've-
254, whatever, isn't really much
Well,
capital. But yeah,
But here's the other part. When we've also brought in other quarterbacks from outside, they were journeyman, proven, backup, veteran, guaranteed, bulletproof quarterback.
yeah. I mean, you've never
You
really
knew
had like
Chad Henne was going to get
young
you through
quarterback.
3 games if you needed him. You knew Matt Moore, who you pulled off a couch, was going to get you through a couple of games. Justin Fields is not what I would consider an established backup quarterback, considering every time he comes into an offense, they have to run the Wildcat. Or a version of the
I give him a little
Wildcat.
more credit than that, but I mean,
It's a version of the Wildcat. He runs a lot of speed option, occasional throw on the
He has
run
been
stuff.
around a lot, so I mean, he does have some veteran experience.
That's
but,
great.
It's not the most. You
not
definitely have to
proven.
change your offense up a little bit if you're transitioning to Fields. Whereas, like with Nuss, he's a little more of a pocket passer almost, unless you watch. I mean, he can run too, but a little more traditional style of quarterback. You can maybe
Yes.
shape your offense around better.
I don't. The other thing that goes into this is traditionally your third quarterback is a guy who will make it to your practice squad. That is not the case
I don't
with
think
either
Nussmeier
of
would
these
make
2
it,
guys. Either one of them. I'll be honest with you. If you cut Justin Fields, I think the Falcons probably sign him the next day.
Well, yeah,
Like-
Justin Fields will find somewhere. You're not getting Justin Fields in the practice squad.
So that's
either.
what I'm saying.
He's
Like
gonna
you're
find him
not
active roster
getting
somewhere.
either of these guys to your keep in your
Mhm.
around your organization if you cut either one of them.
Yeah, that's why I think
Because
have
if
to
you
keep
look
3.
around the league, the Falcons have Garrett and I trying out at quarterback this week, I think.
Tell you what, man, you can't sleep on Jack Strand, man.
I was about to say Jack Strand
You
looked
cannot
pretty
sleep
good.
on that kid. His story is awesome.
It's great.
Well, I mean, like I've said before, that the MSUM Dragon is the last time that I
I'll
ever
tell you right now, they're
MSU.
bringing in Garrett Nussmeier to compete with Jack Strand in a fucking heartbeat if
Yeah.
he's available.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe,
tell you that
but-
right now. They're doing the same thing with Justin Fields. The same
So
conversation.
back to the topic.
You can't
on
cut them.
hand.
If you want them
Yeah,
to stay
I think you
around or
gotta
part
keep
of the
them.
organization, you
Yeah,
can't
you gotta
cut
keep them on
either
the
one of them.
Now there is one major problem that we have to consider with this. Obviously, if you keep Garrett Nussmeier, is that he has to change his jersey number because 14's taken. So like, what the heck, man? Why would they do that? Why would they give him 14 and you have to change it? He's gonna have to wear 19 now. He's gonna look stupid. He's gonna look like Chris
You
Oladokin.
can't wear 19.
He can't.
Oladokin has 19.
No, Oladokin's gonna not make the roster. He's gonna be on the practice squad. So
So it doesn't
Still
19
gonna
is-
have 19.
19 is the only available number, gentlemen. I hate to break it to you. 19 is the only available backup quarterback number.
He can
If-
wear 0.
If Nussmeier, they're not going to do that.
I
If
would
Nussmeier
love
makes
for
the roster,
Agent
he is
Zero
going to be wearing
Garrett
number
Nussmeier.
19.
If
There's
they
no
gave
other
Nuss
option.
Agent Zero, I would be ecstatic.
Unless they cut Jared Wiley and 12 is available, there's no other options available.
That might
literally.
be the most sold
So Garrett
backup
Nussmeier will
third
be wearing
string
number 19
quarterback
if he,
jersey
if he
ever
keeps
if
the
it's
jersey.
0.
So that's
If
my
you
one
cut Christian
downside.
Fulton, he can wear number 8. I'm looking here. Hold on. They're not going to cut Kenneth Walker.
They're not
Amari
cutting-
Evans, he can move to 7.
They're not cutting Christian Fulton.
Christian,
they might cut Amari Evans.
Harrison
He could
Butker,
take number 5.
Harrison Butker,
Harrison
wears
Butker wears 7. Tom.
Our sixth
Never
overall
mind.
pick wears 5.
yes.
Never
Mansour
mind.
Delane.
Hold on.
Yeah, let me just
All
break
right.
it to Xavier Worthy, number 1. Number 2 is Tyquan Thornton. Number 3 is retired. Number 4, Rashid Rice. Number 5 is the guy I just said, Mansour Delane. Number 6 is Justin Fields, so you can't wear that. 7 is Butker. 8, Christian Fulton. 9, Kenneth Walker. 10, Emmett Johnson. 11, Jalen Royals. 12, Jared Wiley. 13 is Cyrus Allen, which I would have thought would be, guys, maybe it was Garrett Nussmeier's college jersey, but whatever. 14 is obviously Mariza. 15.
It's
16
not
is retired.
because Cyrus had
17
seniority.
Cyrus has seniority.
He had the higher pick.
I mean, I guess, but that wasn't even Allen's number either. Anyway, 17 is Louis Gilman, 18 is retired, 19 is the only available quarterback number. So, anyways, that was
0 is an option. Also, that was impressive, Garrett.
That was kind of impressive. I actually am impressed. I nailed that off the dome. So, anyways, right. Justin Fields and Nussmeier will both probably make the roster. I think. Any oppositions to that?
No.
Okay.
The only way they don't is if they trade one.
Make it happen, Tom. Put them on the list.
The other thing I would throw out there, and this is not knocking on wood, if Pat sounds like he's going to be clear, but if for some reason Pat doesn't start the season, you need a backup to your backup, right? So it makes sense to carry that third quarterback. Jersey numbers be damned. So
I told you the only way that they're not is if they trade one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I do. I will also advocate. So we know that Justin Fields preferred to come to Kansas City. Mm-hmm. I think there is a world where Kansas City is looking at moving him around the deadline if they're comfortable with us, or letting him hit free agency and getting if he gets a Malik Willis type deal, they're going to get a comp pick in a year from now. So again, it may be a situation where trade deadline comes and somebody floats out a 4th round pick because they need a backup or they need somebody to fill in for an injury, and that might be an option. So the Chiefs have positioned themselves well for that. Let's talk running back. I think this is an interesting conversation.
It is an interesting conversation, right?
Kenneth Walker is going to be there. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of promising guys, and I think there's some conversations because there's.
Yes, let's have some conversations. Yeah. So first off, I feel like Emmett Johnson, 4th round pick, I feel like is a roster lock. I feel like that's a pretty safe one, especially with how he's looked preseason, 4th round pick. I don't think you're cutting him, right?
I don't think the pick made the lock. I think his performance did, but yes.
Yeah.
I think he's looked good.
Emmett's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Emmett's not going anywhere. The big question, I think, if they keep 3 or 4, is if you're keeping Brashard Smith, your 6th round or 7th round rookie last year, and then Amari DeMarcado, your big-ish free agent running back. Well, not big free agent. Sorry, not big free agent running back signing. There was another guy I forgot that we might have signed in free agency that was pretty big. But the other free agent signing that was somewhat significant in the running back room, with a guy who's has a lot of veteran experience, because if you cut him, you have like no vets at all on the team besides Kenneth Walker at running back, which maybe isn't a bad thing, but just something to think about.
The notoriously stable and constantly filled by the same individual running back spot across the NFL.
Yeah, and then also Amari DeMarcado is a very good third down back, good pass blocking skills, all that type of stuff. To me, I feel like they keep 4. I feel like that's something that they've done pretty frequently in the past couple years, is keeping 4 running backs, especially with all the different variety that you have, just because Brashard Smith is so much of a different, taste. Amari DeMarcado is a little bit different of a style. Emmett Johnson's, kind of just a good running back, and obviously Kenneth Walker. So to me, I feel like 4 running backs makes sense just because there's so many different styles that you have on the team. It's not like you have repeats of 2 guys. But if anything, I would say if they did keep 3, you would cut DeMarcado. Thoughts and opinions?
I think that's the hardest conversation.
That's where my brain's at, because we haven't seen DeMarcado get a sniff or really any real opportunities in the preseason to show or do anything really. Yeah. And out of the 3, and I'll include K9 in this, he is probably the best pass blocker out of all of them, but that's not enough to secure a roster spot.
I think so.
I mean,
he's a vet when you have no other vets behind Kenneth Walker, and he's one of the best pass blockers in the league, and your offensive coordinator is Eric Bieniemy. You say whatever you want, but I find it very hard to believe Amari DeMarcado is not on this roster.
I just feel like you haven't heard anything about him.
I wouldn't hate to see
I don't think they care about showing or doing anything with him in the preseason because they already know. I don't think they give a damn if he touched the ball once. They don't care what they need. They know what he does. They don't know what E.J. Smith and Brashard Smith and Emmett Johnson look like. They know
Jade Knott too.
Jade Knott has been the only thing Jade Knott has been mentioned in any form or fashion is how big his legs looked in minicamp when the Chiefs took the pictures from that photographer. That was
which might have been modified. I'll say this: I think that the conversation comes down to if you have to pick between the 2. I think Brashard Smith has more special teams, and he might get the old Uncle Dave rub. Well, let me rephrase that. The Dave Tobe special teams rub. The old Uncle Dave rub is something that used to happen when I was a kid.
I'm about to say that's not kind of crazy.
Jim Macaro is more in the pass protection. Yeah, I think he gives you some of that special teams.
It's a real
stuff,
Dave move, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I think it is more likely that Dave Tobe is rubbing Brashard Smith.
Crazy.
Oh, Lord.
So,
yeah.
We got to make
now it seems like a good time to remind you to follow us on YouTube.
I think we go 4.
Leave it to Tom.
4?
I think we go 4, but IRL, I would not be surprised if DeMarcado does not make it. I'm just saying.
I do think both EJ Smith and Jade Knott are on the practice squad for what it's worth. Right. I also other reason I don't think you can get rid of DeMarcado or Brashard Smith. The Brashard Smith is more likely to make it to your practice squad, but because of his skill set, teams like to take flyers on that crap on other guys.
They liked Brashard a lot last year. You know,
I don't think he makes it to your practice squad.
They were being intentional with featuring Brashard Smith in their offense last year, so I feel like he's
DeMarcado
pretty safe.
Might make the practice squad, but I don't know what his free agency interest was from other teams, because you have to factor that in.
A pretty small deal here. I mean,
you have to factor that in. Well, it's running backs. Everybody signs small deals.
But like, you think if a team had more interest, they might sign to a slightly. I mean, anything more than what the Chiefs. And the Chiefs gave him a pretty small deal, I think. So I don't know how much.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what his free agent market was like. I don't know. So that's something
we'll stick with 4 for now.
I say we stick with 4, and if we have to trim it down, we can circle back.
We can circle back to it.
So wide receiver. If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be doing, you'll see that I took a moment and added Jeff Caldwell to the board. Obviously, this week they cut Caldwell, but they actually just put him on waivers so they could bring him back. Put him with an injury designation. He is on IR. He gets the mystery IR treatment. He really is living up to the whole. We've seen this happen before, especially with those big time athletes.
Yeah, it's just Ross all over.
Yeah, they've done this for years with this.
Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy,
Tyquan Thornton,
Jalen
Royals, Cyrus Allen.
Yeah.
Cyrus Allen.
Those are the 5.
We are confident.
Those are the 5.
Do they carry 6? Do we do 5?
They do
definitely
6.
6.
They do 6.
All right.
They have to do 6. You don't have a returner in that group.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that tells you who your 6th is.
Gives the nod to Mr. Remigio at the moment, I think.
That does tell you who your 6th is. He's going to be Remigio.
And people will be mad. Andrew Armstrong, he's looked great. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Andrew Armstrong will make it to your practice squad, guys.
Easily, he'll easily make it to your
practice squad. And they will game day elevate him the maximum number of times when they need to put in a big body for insert either gunner or big body in the red zone or whatever it is. That will be when they use his game day elevations. He will be on the practice squad. He still needs a ton of development, but he does block very nicely.
Yep.
Yeah. That's like the easiest conversation we've had at wide receiver for a while.
I don't.
Just kind of surprising. Yeah.
The only thing that could change that is if they don't care about Nico returning anymore, which I highly doubt based on everything Uncle Dave, Mr. Dave
was patting him on the back pretty hard. So.
On press conferences, the only other option would be why they keep 4 running backs and turn either Brashard Smith or Emmett into a returner, but that would be more Smith than Emmett on that front.
Anybody else?
That's an aspect of Brashard's game that I thought they would typically utilize more with his.
I did too, but
play wide receiver and running back.
But when you have Nico Remigio, Randy, you just have to have Nico Remigio.
You gotta have him. Yeah.
And that's nothing against Nico. It's just some of the bottom of the roster churn decisions they've made over the last 4 years has been.
Yeah. As far as the rest of the receivers,
don't worry, I'm going to light some linebackers on fire.
I think Jason Brownlee could make the practice squad again for sure.
I think he's pretty solid.
Him, DeJesus, and Jimmy Holiday are all guys that I could see.
I was going to say, DeJesus has been handling a lot of return duties too, so I'd say he'd be your backup.
That's
kind of squad returner guy.
Backup return guy in case you have a guy.
And then they might add one more of these guys.
They've had Jimmy Holiday. They love Jimmy Holiday. He leaves, he comes back. He leaves, he comes back.
They have had it for a couple years now. Yeah.
We'll let him go for now.
He'll probably leave. He'll be back in week 7 after whatever team signing the practice squad cuts in.
Okay, so wide receiver actually kind of easy. Like I said, I think Nico Remigio is the only
They didn't update Travis's last name. That's disappointing.
not Kelsey Swift. Dang. So yeah, tight end, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. I think obviously
Noah
very
Gray.
easy. This is going to be
Can you
another.
think of 4 or 3? That's the hard
Yeah,
part.
I don't know.
Well, if they don't go 4, I don't know how you keep Jared Wiley over Jake Brenningstool after the performances you've
I
seen
think Jared
throughout
Wiley makes
preseason
it. I
and
unfortunately
camp.
think he makes it.
Because he has to, because
unfortunately,
he's your blocking tight end. He's the biggest guy in the fucking room at this point, other than Trey Watson,
he's not even that big.
I don't think you're going to keep because
no, he's a practice squad. Yeah, Trey Watson for sure.
And I'll be 100% honest with you. You could point Mason Pline out to me, and I would still not know who that is or what to do. With
he wears like 46, so it's just kind of unique.
He went to Furman. So
great. I know it's a college. I know about where it's
at. I was
at.
a big Furman fan.
I don't know anything else about the man.
I was a big Furman fan.
Like I said, if they don't keep 4, who are you cutting? Because
what are the chances that one of these 2 gentlemen here suffers some type of mysterious long-term soft tissue injury?
They can't.
This Friday.
They did that with Brenningstool last year. So
the unfortunate part is it wouldn't be a mysterious thing with Jared Wiley if it happened. It would be again.
Yeah.
And that would be disappointing. And Brenningstool, I mean, the problem is Brenningstool is Noah Gray bigger, same. Noah Gray light.
Brenningstool's not bad blocker. He had some reps that were decent. The Chiefs don't. That's never been a big point of emphasis with their tight ends, anyways. Which is not.
If they're going to get under center more, then it's going to have to be.
All right. I mean, we know that Andy has loved 12 personnel in the I
think it's 4.
13 personnel, but they're also great special teams bodies.
I think it's 4.
I think it's 4 as well.
I don't know how else it could be.
I would actually not be shocked if Jared Wiley does not make the team, though. I would say
problem is we're to the offensive line with 5 spots left.
Well, no.
Oh, I guess it counted. I'm looking at the counter in the top right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we got some space.
It counted the other 3. We have 8 spots left. So they're only carrying 8 linemen. They're only carrying 8 offensive linemen, which I think is actually how this goes. So
okay, so the linemen we know pretty easily. Obviously, Tom can fill in the starting
Simmons, Moore, Trey
starting
Smith.
5. Yeah, Simmons, Suamataia, Humphrey, Smith, and then Jalen Moore with Khalil Benson. I think is a pretty safe backup tackle option, as well as Esapole. I don't think that's too controversial.
Yeah, I think Pole's given.
I think Pole's good, and I don't know if you got Benson.
I think our new acquisition.
Yeah, I think, and then the new
he's going to play guard.
Joshua Zudo, I think, is your backup guard tackle swing.
Probably here behind
there.
Trey. That's where we're worried.
Benson yet?
Benson would be behind Jalen Moore on the right.
And then I think Norzad's the last guy with his center ability.
He's got to be. So. I don't know what else.
I mean, he's been the backup center he's been the backup center for the past couple years now.
Yeah,
the only guy who has center versatility is Caliendo.
And we can scroll back down to this list.
And this is 9 people. That's how it is.
You probably see, and they cut Kellen Deitch today, by the way.
Yeah.
For
go away.
He's not there anymore. I would say you'll probably see Godric still on the practice squad.
Yeah.
You'll probably see Driscoll still on the practice squad.
Yeah.
And you will probably see Pete Nigra still on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that CJ Hansen is still in Kansas City after this season, after this cut down day ends. I also have the same feelings on Mike Caliendo, and I've had those feelings since before the Eagles freaking Super Bowl.
I don't think Mike's going to go in. Who else wants? I don't know if I feel like Mike.
No, I just think he's going to be on the team. I think the NFL is going to retire him.
Here's what I think happened to Mike Caliendo. He's going to go back to his house in Kansas City and just hang out there and wait. And
that's fine.
There's a good chance that Kansas City just calls halfway through the year and brings him back on the practice squad.
Stay in shape, and you end up back on the roster when somebody goes down. But I just don't. There's no way you can bring in all of the guys you've brought in and continue to put your backup guard spot in the hands of Mike. Mm-hmm. You just can't. I don't think you can do it, especially not when you trade for Izzuto. Like you just basically said, hey, we don't trust our interior or exterior line play. We need a guy that can play all 4 spots, especially one that has tackle experience, so that if we have to move Benson inside, he can still play tackle.
I would say that's the biggest thing is Benson has also got some flexibility play
Right.
guard. So
they're both gonna play guard
inside out,
at
yeah.
some point, probably.
And Pole wouldn't be a terrible option to slide in at interior.
He's your
as well.
last resort inside out of that group, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so offensive line actually was kind of easy. Like I said, I think there may be some questions as far as like the backup if they maybe don't like Norzad as much over Niagara or something along those lines. But I feel like offensive line, yeah, we'll see if they keep 9 or if they decide to maybe keep 10 or 8 or how they do it with when you have guys that are so versatile like Izzuto and Benson who can play inside and out. It kind of it might make it easier to have 8 people instead of 9. But we'll see. We will see. Let's hop over to the defense now, and
I've already filled out the defensive line kind of gimmies.
Yeah,
Garrett,
so
Garrett, on your point about the versatility, I think the Izzuto move provides some insulation for Benson so they can keep him on the roster, because if they both have the same kind of versatility, you can always default to Izzuto first and then make Benson be able to fill in at the spot you prefer him to if he has to fill in.
True. Yeah.
Where you can plug and play Izzuto at any of the 4 other spots besides center.
You put Benson at guard.
Correct.
And, you can have Benson stay at more of a tackle spot. I like that.
Whichever way they go, they could do the same, the exact opposite inverse too, where they think Benson fits better inside and play Izzuto at tackle specifically, and then
it'll be also interesting this last preseason game just to fully figure out how they roll out that roster. I know they said that Khalil Benson will be starting at left tackle the third preseason game, so just obviously getting more versatility on him.
That to me sounds like Jalen Moore will be starting at right.
Yeah, I mean,
they're trying to get.
Which means your regular offensive line is going to be in to start with, as long as Trey plays, from left to right being Kingsley, Creed, Trey, and then Moore, with Simmons going to be slotting in where they have Benson to start out. So.
All right, so the defensive line is a little more of an interesting conversation.
Yes.
Gelati is injured, and I know that they are optimistic, but I wonder if they start him on the pup. But they haven't done that yet, so I think we'll operate under the assumption that they won't. That kind of leaves one defensive tackle spot, one edge spot open.
So if you're just listening if you're just listening, you can't see. We have George Karlaftis, R. Mason Thomas, Felix Anudike Uzama, and Ashton Gelati as your 4 edge rushers. I think that's pretty safe. Obviously, the new, obviously R. Mason Thomas, a new guy in town. FAU having a resurgence and probably locking in a roster spot is pretty good. And then the Gelati is the question mark with his health. I think he starts the year and then they put him on IR as soon as the 53 man is done, and then he's out the first 4 games. But we'll see. We'll see how serious the initial optimism was that he would be ready for week 1, but I don't know. I just don't know if you want to rush him back.
It's a tough injury to recover, just from based on the position, because you have to be able to launch and drive.
Exactly. It's probably going to take some time to get him comfortable.
All season long. Yep.
Yeah. And then at defensive tackle, we have 3 locks of Chris Jones, Peter Woods, and Kyrus Tonga. Kyrus? Is it Kyrus? Or is it
Chris? It's Kyrus, I think, but most people call him Chris. I don't know exactly which one he prefers. I've heard both.
It's Greek. Greek for grace. It's Kyrus.
Hold on.
Okay.
It was on the depth
I've
chart,
heard it's Kyrus, and he's been called Kyrus and Chris, and he goes, and I've heard him respond
to both. It's Kyrus. That's according to the Chiefs depth chart pronunciation guide. Okay. Kyrus Tonga. Kyrus Tonga. So that was obviously the free agent acquisition, nose tackle, big guy to replace Derek Nottie. Finally, we don't have to rely on Derek Nottie anymore. Peter Woods and Chris Jones on the inside, and then obviously you have the caveat of Omar Norman Lott, who is still on the PUP list, who likely will stay on the PUP list for the first probably 6 weeks of the season. So that's a free roster spot right there that someone will have to replace. But that's 7 D linemen. Yeah. Who else are we adding?
So defensive end, they brought back old friend Emmanuel Ogba. True. They just signed Niles King with the Jeff Caldwell move, and Tyreek Smith has gotten quite a bit of run this preseason.
Yeah,
VJ Anthony got a lot of look in that second preseason game too.
Yeah,
he did.
So I'm inclined to think that they probably stick with Ogba if they think he's healthy and checked out. He didn't look dominating or anything in the snaps, but I know he's still kind of getting back into the acclimated to things. But he's familiar
I would say young developmental wise, the guy who they've probably been most impressed with and whatnot would be Tyreek Smith. I feel like he's had a good camp and preseason showing so far. So if you're going to have
some pretty wild spin moves, and he's playing with some juice.
Yeah, he's definitely shown some juice. And, I think whoever we add at this spot, whether it's Tyreek Smith or Agba or whatever, is obviously the guy who is probably going to get cut once ONL is back. So you might think, well, maybe you add another defensive tackle here, but I don't know. We have a lot of inside-out versatility with some of the guys, so they might be inclined to add another D tackle for the time being. Marcus Harris has been one of the other, second-team defensive tackles out there.
Do we think they go 4 edges and 4 tackles, or do you think they go 5 edges and 4 tackles? What do you think? How do you think this splits out?
Well, I think whoever's hanging out at this last little spot here has to have some versatility to play inside and outside.
Yeah,
that's the only way they're going to try to solidify and hold on longer than ONL's pup designation.
Well, the guy that they've been doing that with is
Felix.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit of that for sure. Yeah.
Tom talked about it earlier. Look, I said it on the last episode of this podcast. You can be all kinds of talented all you want. If you don't know how to get off the ball when it is snapped, it does not matter. And until you show me that you can do that, I'm not believing squat. Well,
yeah.
Apparently, said, I get to believe in whatever he's selling at this point because he beat the left tackle off the line so bad and instantly defeated him with the hand swipe so bad that Tucker, our friend over at KCSN, is calling it an unblocked rep. Like, he beat him so cleanly. I'm still not even sure he actually touched him. Felix swatted his hands, but I don't think the offensive lineman ever actually touched Felix. And on the stunt I was talking about earlier, this is where I'm talking about his inside versatility. They have him lined up next to Chris, essentially, where they would line up next to Chris. He's inside. They run a stunt with him, and I want to say it was R. Mason on the top of that time, which really sells the stunt because that tackle is cheating to the top of the arc because R. Mason has been spamming the speed rush button since the first snap of the game on defense. So when they run that stunt, that tackle's 2 yards out of position because he's got to come across and through where Felix is getting pushed because he got off the fucking ball on time. And so,
so Felix is making the team, is what you're saying.
Once you start doing that, but to your versatility point, he's the guy they're going to move inside.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're relying on him for actual defensive tackle snaps and running.
No,
first and second
for your
down.
Pass rush.
I think. Pass rush, but they do that. They do that with everyone. I mean, they move George inside. They move everyone inside.
Yes, but
it's not
you have your interior for your first and second down. It's already on the list. You're playing Chris Jones in one of those two every first and second down.
I think you need another defensive tackle here. I think.
I agree, but we have, just to clarify, we have space for one more edge and one more defensive tackle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you need to add 2. Because really with Gelati out, you have 6 D linemen right now. So it's like, I think you need to add 2. And honestly, if I'm being real, I think one of the spots isn't even on this list yet. I think it's probably going to be a waiver wire claim or something to add another defensive tackle or another edge rusher or something.
I think they did that already, and I think Emmanuel Ogba's already on your roster, bud.
I think Emmanuel Ogba.
For me, it's between Ogba and Tyreek Smith.
I honestly think they both probably do, and I think they're the last two. If one of them doesn't, it's one of those two that doesn't.
I would give the nod to Tyreek Smith just because I think Agba will easily clear waivers or whatever and come back to the practice squad. Because obviously he went this long without being signed for anything. Like, I'm sure he can easily get back to the practice squad. I think Tyreek Smith is a little more.
He's younger.
Potential. Yeah.
Randy, Tyreek or Agba? What do you think?
I think right now I would lean Tyreek just because we know what Agba offers. I think Tyreek,
and that's why they'll take
a little bit more of the youthful upside. And he showed some juice in that last game with a couple of nice interior spin moves. He's got some versatility. He's made some progress. We know what Agba is, and like you said, he's been hanging out as a free agent for a long time.
Agba's going to get some game day elevations pretty early in the season, so we
Hey,
ain't
I
got to
have,
worry about
I have
that.
a question. Does this sound oddly familiar to anybody that may have played defensive end for this team last year?
There's no...
Mike Dana, guys.
Was I supposed to be listening to something?
This is the exact same conversation we had last year about Mike Dana.
We don't want to say that name right here, Kyle.
Well, I hate to be the one to say this. You guys can put him up there, but knowing what I know about this organization and about this coaching staff, what did you guys say? We know what from Emmanuel Agba? You know what? You know what you're going to get?
Yep.
You know exactly what you're getting? Oh, that's weird. What does this coaching staff usually lean towards? Knowing exactly what they're getting? Okay.
Agba's gonna be here.
Leave it like it is. I'm just telling you, when Emmanuel Agba is on the roster and Tyreek Smith is hoping to get to the practice squad, it's the way they do things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with you necessarily. It's the way they do business. It's been that way. And if they do it differently this time, awesome. I just don't believe it, much like I didn't with Felix until I see it.
Everyone take the notes though. If Kyle wants to grandstand now, so if Agba doesn't make the roster, better.
I'll make you a bet right here, right now. If it's Tyreek Smith or Emmanuel Agba, you think it's Agba, I think it's Smith. Loser shaves their head.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a hair bet. Yeah,
always says
no.
That. Always says that. Okay, so we'll move on to the line. Yeah. Defensive
Marcus
tackle.
Harris? I think he's number 4 right now.
I think we can add Marcus Harris for now, but like I said, I think they will add an outside body. But Marcus Harris is the guy who is technically listed as the backup defensive tackle on the depth chart. So,
Any objections? Going once, twice, linebackers.
He's not going to be on the roster, but that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll end up with that.
Marcus Harris is not going to be on this roster.
No, he's not. Yeah, that's what I just said. That's what I always said. Yeah.
But
for now, as a placeholder,
be the first
linebackers.
Yeah, linebackers. Yeah, so Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, Jeffrey Bassa. Those are pretty safe options. I think
I'm gonna punch a hole in a wall.
I think there's a certain. Well, I don't know. Actually, there might be some.
Cooper McDonald's on this team. I don't even know why we're still him-hawing.
Yeah.
Cooper McDonald. Yeah, and then they re-signed Cam Jones. They do like Cam Jones a lot.
And godforsakenly, unfortunately, Jack Cochran is on this team.
Jack Cochran is still here.
He's on this team. No, he's on this
Wesley
team.
Bissainthe. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Bissanti.
Yeah, he's had a good preseason so far to earn himself a practice squad spot for sure.
Nothing else to be wrong about Jack Cochran being on this roster, but there's no chance after everything that Dave Tobe said about him earlier this year.
Yeah.
There's not a shot in hell he is not on this roster.
Yeah.
I'm kind of inclined to agree. I think Cam Jones is a practice squad guy. Cole Christensen, practice squad.
Into the sun. Into the sun. Into the sun.
He might just retire again. Cole Christensen, good guy, good dude.
Him and Jack Cochran can book a shuttle together.
He was going to retire last season, and then the Chiefs called him for one more run on the practice squad or whatever. So he's probably going to retire again. Yeah, but I think this 5 linebackers is pretty safe. I think typically the Chiefs carry 5, 6 would be a little. That'd be Dave Tobe really getting his claws in the roster. But 5 is a safe bet.
I just can't wait for another 78 penalties on special teams from Jack Cochran this year. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
it's our
favorite. It's inevitable. Okay, defensive backs. That Tom is currently working on a little bit here.
CRW, Jaden Kennedy.
Yeah, Jaden Kennedy is.
Yep.
Nickel Williams.
Nickel corner. He's going to be the nickel corner.
Yeah.
Chris Wallace.
Safety.
Yeah, you can put it safety.
Yeah, and then Noel Williams, wherever his.
Noel Williams, you can put it corner.
There we go. That about rounds that out.
Okay, so as we run it with right now, we have a couple locks. I think Mansour Delane, obviously, Noel Williams are going to be your starting 2. You have L'Jarius Sneed, who knows if he's actually going to be legitimately having shot at slots or at snaps on the outside or whatever. But I think he is going to be here.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Jaden Kennedy, obviously the rookie, he's going to be here. At corner, and then you have Alohi Gilman, Jaden Hicks, Shamari Connor, and Chris Roland Wallace at safety. I think that's pretty safe, a safe bet as well. Obviously Alohi Gilman, the big free agent pickup. Jamari, Jaden Hicks, the two younger guys. Chris Roland Wallace has been a very valuable addition wherever they play him, at safety, corner, wherever Chris Roland Wallace is. He usually does pretty good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think Christian Fulton's a lock for a corner spot yet.
I hate it, but yes.
Yeah,
I think
he might be the surprise trade candidate.
So
I desperately want it to not be Christian Fulton, and so it can be Cater Kohu and Kevin Knowles, but it won't be.
Yeah,
I'm
that's probably true.
It'll be Christian Fulton and Kevin Knowles, and Cater Kohu will be standing there looking, trying to figure out why he signed that free agent deal.
I take Kohu over Knowles.
I would too, but I don't think they're going to, because Cater doesn't play safety as much as Knowles has for them lately.
I think one guy we're sleeping on too is Xavier Nwangpa.
I like both of them, but again, when you put Christian Fulton on this roster, it completely derails what you do with Kohu, Nwangpa, and
because Nwangpa is more of a safety, and really Chris Roland Wallace is. He can play safety, corner. He can play any kind of defensive back. But
Which
if
is
you were to
what
add
Spags
Nwangpa,
wants.
I think you have 10 DBs total, and
I agree about Nwangpa. The problem you have is you leave Kohu and Knowles off this roster, and I don't think they can leave Kohu off this roster.
Yeah, I mean Kohu, I'm not too mad about losing. I know it's a fun thought of a free agent pickup, but he missed all of last season pretty much with a knee injury. Like, it's not, I think we have other slot corner options that can kind of fill in for that. And then Kevin Knowles, he had a good story. He was obviously a hard worker last year and made the roster, and he's going to definitely make the practice squad, I would say.
I'm not a Knowles guy, so for me it's a no-brainer between Kohu and Knowles, but.
Yeah, well, I can see that.
I still think it's Nwangpa or Knowles over Kohu strictly based on position.
But I think Nwangpa easily makes the practice squad.
I think Knowles does too.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these guys make the practice squad easily. I mean,
I don't know that Kohu does because he has.
I think there's probably more of a demand for
history
Kohu
elsewhere.
Yeah,
but
I just don't know if he's even.
Are you carrying
doing
6 corners then, essentially? Because Kennedy can play both, but it's mostly.
Well, that's the thing, because CRW also plays both. So really, I feel like we need another safety with Nwangpa. I mean, that's just how I.
That's why I said, is Kennedy going to be more of the safety, and then they're going to put Kohu in as the other corner?
Kennedy's going to be a slot. He's going to be a nickel slot inside guy.
That's what they should do with him.
I think he's too small to play safety, right? I mean,
they have Shamari Connor as their starting back end, bud, and Alohi Gilman.
Kennedy is.
Neither one of those dudes are big.
Talk about him, but he was a guy that I was watching. I've been watching. I think he's.
Kennedy's great. Was great at Oregon. I just don't know. I don't think you can play him as your strong safety.
He's not your traditional strong safety, right? He can play some of those like quarter zone, deep zone things and rotate around. Same thing with Jarius Sneed. I'm going to throw that out there again. I've said this before, but if we see him in the
safety,
Kendall Fuller type role, where
playing safety when he's slower, yes,
yeah.
I mean, L'Jarius Sneed he's not going to touch the practice field at all at any point in time, which is fine.
So,
but they know what they have. That is break glass in case of emergency at corner or safety, whichever one they have the problem at. That they absolutely have to have somebody. It's him.
Yeah.
Until his knees fall off.
I don't think
that's what it is. Like, that's why he's here. He's here to be the guy that it's Mike Edwards from last year or the year before, where it's like, we know you're toast, but
what if because this is our roster prediction, we control this, what if we just cut Jack Cochran? What if we just cut Jack Cochran, then we have Kohu and Nwangpa? Wouldn't that be great?
The only problem is they won't carry
teams
4
reasons,
linebackers.
you need another linebacker body.
And it would be Cam Jones.
Yeah.
What if we just cut Jack Cochran though? Wouldn't that be funny if we just cut Jack Cochran?
Agree.
I'm just kidding. I don't know who this last defensive back is.
Well,
really.
With the way we have it set up now, I think it has to be Nwangpa.
Or we just add someone else somewhere else too. I mean, we really could just add somebody else, at any other position. I mean, because we have one roster spot available. Technically, 9 DBs isn't bad with the amount of versatility. And if we really felt like adding another, defensive end or a wide receiver, you could keep 7 wide receivers maybe, or.
I think I've kind of talked myself. I was very much Kohu over it all. I think of the players here, Kohu has the highest ceiling, the highest chance of making the biggest impact I'm thinking about? Because, I mean, I think Kohu could be a very excellent slot-style corner. We have Noel, we have Delane, we have Sneed, if needed. And Kennedy's a rookie. Fulton really is the piece that kind of messes it all up.
But I mean, pre-injury though, Kohu's pretty good.
So was Christian Fulton pre-injury 4 years ago.
Fulton's still way. I mean, I would be fine with not having Fulton on the roster either.
That's the guy I would rather.
I was going to say, I wonder. So
he would be the guy I would try to trade.
What if it's Kohu over Fulton, and then Wampa as a safety?
I'm fine with that. Even still,
that's what I would like. How much dead money do you have by cutting Fulton?
Kyer Elam is like.
I think it's.
Because remember, the Chiefs, who was the assistant GM or whatever, was talking a couple.
That boy's not making this roster.
Was talking a couple days ago, and he was saying that they were trying to make, they're going to make more cap space before the end of the season. How much are you saving by cutting?
I don't know that. I think you're getting a bunch of extra dead is the problem.
I feel like Christian Fulton could be a cap casualty. Tom, are you looking that up?
I am.
I am.
Okay, someone's looking at it. That would be the justification where it's like Fulton you're saving so much more by cutting him.
You got $8 million in dead cap.
But his cap hit is 13.
You'd save 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I mean, $5 million. That's big. That's a big number.
That's a hell of a
I would
number.
do with that. I would do that route personally. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do though. That's the problem with being prediction versus us having our thoughts. Like we can think that they should keep Kohu
because his base salary is 9.7 and his cap hits 13 with a dead.
I mean,
cap
also
of
at the end of the day, like he has. Also, only like one of the few people who even took corner snaps on the team last year. So it's like if you want a little bit of continuity.
In the preseason this year.
Yeah, like if you want a little bit of continuity, I mean, they cut. To be fair, they cut Mike Pinnell last year, and that was a pretty surprising one. So it's like you never. I'm just saying you never know.
Fulton looked pretty decent at the end of last year.
He did.
He was starting to come back.
To save $5 million to have him, to have Kohu over him or whatever. I don't know.
Kohu's on a min. It's like 1.8.
But another question. You also need to take into account too that Fulton is a little bit more of a veteran body when you're looking at our corner room right now with 3 rookies on it.
I know. Mm-hmm. I still think it's Wampa.
Or 2 rookies and a second guy.
I would be surprised if they keep Kohu at this point.
Is there any other UDFAs? Well, I guess Khalil Benson, but that would be the only other UDFA to make it besides Wampa if he made it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool, UDFA
we could go back and cut one of our running backs. I mean,
I don't think they're carrying 11 DBs though, Tom.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be 10 probably. Yeah.
Like I think even if we cut that off, like the problem isn't that we don't have enough roster spots. It's I don't think they're keeping 11. But they have a couple of contracts in weird spots that make it hard to keep the right 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's my thought process though with this corner: outside corner, nickel,
all
outside,
all.
Outside.
Remember, he started his career in the slot.
I know Snead is all, but I think generally speaking,
and plus CRW is an inside guy. CRW where slot looks.
Fuck, we're going to see Jamari Connor in slot coverage this year. You can bet your wallet on that.
Because really, I do think we underestimate CRW because he did a lot of slot stats.
Oh, they're going to use him a ton. The problem is
if we're worried about inside coverage, I think he is pretty good.
I
think Wampa. He's a true safety. You don't have. I mean, you don't have a lot of true safeties on the roster besides him.
If he's not on the roster, he's on the practice squad at minimum.
For sure,
I think it's more likely that he's on the practice squad and gets a lot of elevations, and Kohu's on the roster.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, I'm fine.
I'm not saying that's what I would do.
I just worry because you have two true safeties on your roster right now, and then Jamari Connor. And that's kind of it. I mean, Wampa, you can put him down in the box. He's got that. I think.
They did that with Kohu in Miami. I mean, Kohu's played both also, and I believe he did in college as well.
Yeah, I just think Kohu gets lost in the sauce. I think he just unfortunately gets lost in the sauce of the bubble.
For me, it's hard because the UDFA versus somebody who's a little bit more established.
Plus, Wonka is wearing 29 as a safety, so we know how that goes.
Good for sure. 26 in the corners, number 2.
26 is a bum number. Nobody ever good was 126 besides Damian Williams. Shout out Damian. But other than that, bum number.
Man, this is hard. This is enough of a conversation.
I'm going to vote for Wanpa. That's my vote.
All right. Randy, who's your vote?
I put Kohu and Wonka on the practice squad.
So we need one.
One on the roster.
We need one on the roster.
We need one.
More
no, I said put Kohu on and Wonka's on the practice.
Okay.
There was no comma in your sentence, sir. There was no comma.
Punctuation matters. I apologize.
Yep.
Kyle.
I think it's Wonka on the roster. You're gonna end up 2-2 here because you're with Kohu.
Tom's on Kohu.
So
we didn't even solve anything. Should we
flip a coin
for it? Who has a coin?
I'm gonna concede and we'll put Wonka on here, but I
like
will
Wonka.
line myself with. We'll throw him on the practice squad. I also think Melvin.
I'll be the lone man standing saying I fucking told you so.
I would prefer it to be Kohu over Fulton, but I don't think it will be.
Kyle's gonna have the told you so over Ogba. Randy will have the told you so over Kohu. Tom, what do we put our pitchforks on anyone like that? I can't remember if we did.
No, I don't think so. Any other people that we're going? Oh, this guy is absolutely. I think CJ Hansen's a practice squad if he clears.
Yeah.
And I think.
A lot of these guys do practice squads. I think he retires. I think it's about done. Zelmar Vetter, put him on the practice squad, bro. I think Zelmar Vetter has shown great work ethic just because he was the first one down the hill every day of camp. I think that's not nothing.
I mean, even he's actually when he's gotten
and he has shown
looked okay.
Yeah, I think that's not nothing. So
but the other thing, the other guy for me that would be the other option for the 16th, if Tom will stop Twitch scrolling around, is Niles. He just got here.
Niles King.
I mean, I could very well see that.
I could see Niles King and Cam Jordan both being on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Niles King is 6'6", 269.
Yeah, nice.
Or Cam Jones. You already have Cam Jones on the practice squad. So
I already got Cam Jones on. All right. Well, that gives it.
I think we did it.
Kind of squares it up. So.
Yeah. Well, that's
way too much of my face.
Let's get everyone back in the orientation here. All right.
Well, we like the face.
We did it. We have predicted the Chiefs 53-man roster. We appreciate you joining us and rocking with us through this one. Hopefully, we're all right. Hopefully, we hit 53 out of 53. We'll see. That usually is never the case, but
that almost never happens.
It's a fun exercise, and there was a lot of good conversations had, and this is the conversation tenfold that the Chiefs are having. They have a lot more access to information than we do, so that's just our take on it as spectators, as people who know ball and know the Chiefs and their tendencies and whatnot. And if you think differently, comment. Let us know who you think is going to make it. Let us know if you really think Kevin Knowles has earned a roster spot, or whoever you think. Let us know your thoughts and comments.
Or tell me Jack Cochran's the best player on the planet. Go ahead.
Garrett Nussmeier will be wearing number 19. You got to just ignore the jersey now, unfortunately, unless they cut Jared Wiley, which I'm almost hoping for, just so they can have another quarterback number available. That's the only reason. Sorry, Jared, or Fulton, either way. So with that. That's all I've got. That's all we've got for you. We appreciate your rocking with us as always. Follow us at Kingdom Says Pod, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And check us out YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at, Apple Music as well. And we will be back next week after the preseason game, after Cut Down Day. And there's sure to be a bunch of wild stuff that happened on Cut Down Day, and probably more trades and acquisitions and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll be with you, but for now, that's all we've got. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we will see you guys on the next episode of The Kingdom Says.